The Broadband World Forum 2015 brought together 8,000 broadband professionals. We asked, what is the biggest change we're going to see in the business of broadband?
I think gigabit to the home is going to become much more commonplace. There are some places that already have a very robust fiber network. I think there are cities in the U.S. that are doing that, but there are countries that have. Japan is a great example. They've got a lot of fiber going through. So I think gigabit to the home is not going to become a very unique experience. It's going to become much more commonplace.
But what that also, the big change that's happening then is what that enables, and that primarily the most obvious example is in terms of IoT. So we're going to go from a human-centric internet to a machine-centric one, where most of the data and the connections are coming actually then from devices, and so talking and quite often to cloud services as well.
In terms of broadband technology, we're starting to see the deployment of NG-PON, which is an even higher bitrate fiber to the home technology, but that also opens up potentials for separating the network up. It works across a number of wavelengths, so you can separate the network up across different business sectors. You can have one wavelength that will do all the services for an enterprise, one for mobile backhaul, one for residential services, all on the same set of optical fibre. So that's quite an interesting development.
There's a key push towards convergence, which has been a big theme here, around fixed and mobile convergence. The technology that's driving that, I think we've seen across Europe. There's a number of countries that have already made pretty big inroads into a convergence of technology.
I think the innovations that are happening are going to come from a very large spectrum of players, not all broadband and telecom related, and that itself is quite a big change, because now you are going to have to look at a spectrum of players in the industry that are really going to keep doing innovations at a much faster change.
Really one of the more fundamental changes that service providers for internet access are going to face, and they're going to have to evolve to, is stop thinking about the broadband network and the physical topology thereof and how do they keep it up and running. I mean, of course that's important, but they're really going to have to think of themselves as experience providers. What they're really doing is enabling their subscribers to live a digital lifestyle that they enjoy. And if they're going to do that, they have to think about quality of experience. QoE as a term has been around for a long time, but most people thought of that as bandwidth and throughput. And I think the biggest challenge is for them to evolve their thinking to say, no, I'm actually an experience provider.
I think ultimately the cloud infrastructure is going to have a huge role to play in augmenting a lot of the devices that start to appear in our living rooms and in our houses. If you look at the likes of Amazon Echo, or even if we look at Siri on the iPhone, that gives the perception that the device that we're talking to is really intelligent and has a lot of capability. But in reality, it's not. It's not nearly as clever as it is perceived to be. The intelligence is sitting in the cloud up there. That's where all the computational work is done. But the network then, the low latency network, is responsible for giving that perception when that information is fed back to it, that it's all computed locally within the device.
We hope you've enjoyed these videos from the Broadband World Forum. For more videos on technological innovation and business, please subscribe.